Hi, this is Anthony.
Hi, this is Kathy.
Hi, this is Allie. Welcome to Hearth, the Pagan Community Podcast. Tonight we're going to be talking about the pilsner style of beers, the purpose of the PCC, some stuff about the Spring Equinox and the schedule that we're going to be holding out at the land this year. Stay till the end because I'll be talking about an internationally recognized brewer from my hometown and the pilsner that he made.
Woohoo!
That sounds fantastic.
Doesn't it?
Welcome back, everyone. So happy to have everyone here and just to have the opportunity to talk with folks tonight about things that are going on in our little world up here in Alaska. I'd like to open the second edition of our podcast with a small statement of unity and inclusion going out to the pagan community and essentially to all the folks in Alaska and the area. With all that's going on in the United States and the world today, we want to make sure that folks within the eclectic community, within the pagan community, within alternative communities, that everyone is aware that they have a safe place to come, to seek refuge, to hang out, and just be with others of like mind. We're here for you.
Definitely. We want to make sure that everyone knows that they're loved and taken care of the very best that we're able to, because we can't be in this world inhabiting it together unless we're willing to reach out to each other. And in times like this, we need to remember to be there for the neighbor that maybe you don't agree with all the time, or the brother that you fight with. We're all in it together, guys.
You know, the beauty of the PCC and the land is that it really is a refuge, Anthony. You know, thank you from the first time that you invited me out to participate. I just felt at home and being able to be myself, being able to listen to new ideas, learn about alternative thoughts, paths. It's just so refreshing. I see so many people arguing today, so much chaos. I appreciate knowing that I have a place I can go.
I think that's important right now, and as we're approaching the equinox, that, you know, we look at that balance, that we can come together and have that place of safety. So I wanted to open up the session tonight and our little episode tonight with letting everyone know that we're here to support your path, whatever that is.
You know, and that's something I actually take for granted. I just assume that people are that way, and I forget that not everyone has that sanctuary. So thank you. Thank you for reminding us, Anthony. Hey, Allie, what are we drinking tonight? You talked about pilsners in the intro. What are we actually drinking?
So the first brew that we're going to have is called Pilsner or Quell. It's the most interesting pilsner I've run across because it's the historical pilsner. It's the very first one. This pilsner was
the
made...
recipe.
No, I was going to say, wait a minute. We ain't drinking no skunk beer, are we?
Oh, come on. I love you more than that.
Okay, just making sure.
The original pilsner was made in the town of Pilsen in the bloody lid come off. I hate you too. The Czech Republic.
Pilsners are from the Czech Republic?
Yeah, originally, absolutely.
Czech wine. All right.
Pilsners are a type of lager. There are two different types of yeast in this world. There are ale yeast and there are lager yeast. Ale yeasts were used before refrigeration was a thing. Before you could get a beer cold and keep it cold over the time that it took to ferment. Lager yeast are a crisper, cleaner flavor, but you have to keep them cold or they will taste freaking skunky.
Oh. Well, I'm seeing a very beautiful golden color. Not a light, but a kind of a medium gold.
A true gold, and that's part of it being a Czech Pilsner is that golden color. If you're going a European Pilsner, it'll be more straw looking.
A little cloudy.
Depends if it's filtered or unfiltered.
It definitely held its head for a while, a good 30 seconds. Now, just a little bit of foam. Because y'all thought I didn't know anything about beer.
Oh, I never said such a thing.
It's clean.
No, this one is fun because of you don't like it.
So it's better than domestic pilsners that I've had.
Fair enough. I've had some crummy pilsners looking for some good ones. This particular pilsner is really interesting because of the history behind it. Pilsner Urquell came about when in 1838, several city brewers in the town of Pilsen decided that the beer that year was so bad that they dumped out at least 36 barrels of beer in a big old ceremony in front of City Hall in the town square. Just dumped them out, went screw this, started over. Some people mortgaged their houses, got together and did a collective brewery for the town. There's legend 2 years later that a monk from Bavaria smuggled out some lager yeast, because this didn't used to be a kind of yeast you could get a hold of easily. Brought it into the town, and in 1842, just like it says on the bottle, the brewery came into existence. And this is what they were producing in little giant open-ended barrels down in a series of caves underneath the brewery.
So this was the collective
that started
came together and
yes.
did it. It wasn't the monk.
No, the monk just brought the yeast to a brewer in the area.
Got it.
Smuggled that sucker out because
holy man bringing the sacred herb to the town so that they could produce something genuine.
Absolutely.
Woot woot.
See
it's
what?
Not bad. It's not a wine, but it's not bad. It's not a mead. It's not bad.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Good first choice.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you taste the little bit of sweetness on the tongue that it's got hanging out through there?
Citrusy kind of thing, but I don't know if that's just
the citrus is from the Saaz hops. You are absolutely tasting citrus. Pilsners are hard to brew, man. This is back before the malts were really well transferred from starches to sugars like they are nowadays. You used to have to do some crazy brew methods, but I'll get into all that later to pull this off. All you really need to know for now is if you're deciding to do homebrew, do not start with a Pilsner. You will disappoint yourself. I'd know.
Now,
good words.
Is this something you would recommend for Equinox?
So whenever we're getting into springtime, my palate is changing over from the darker, the heavier, the bigger ales, more body to, oh man, I just need something clean and refreshing. And that's where a Pilsner really starts to shine.
Okay.
And this is fun because right about when Pilsner was coming out was when we finally figured out yeast and what yeast do, because before then we didn't know. German purity laws didn't include yeast as an ingredient in brewing for quite some time. It was amended later, but...
It is cleaner. It's like a transition between it being very cold and starting to warm up. I like Pilsners cool, and when they start to get too warm, they go kind of soury.
Gotcha.
So when it's crisp and fresh and just out of the cooler, it's perfect for a spring day.
I would have to agree. I have to say you won me over at least on the first one for a Pilsner, but what else can you tell me about the Urquell?
Well, Pilsner Urquell, being the very first one, is actually the standard for the style. You're going to get a little bit of grassy, but that clean, crisp malt flavor with the caramelization of the wort is incredibly important for it. If you are going to try Pilsners, one that you have to include is Pilsner Urquell, because it is that flagship. It is that very first, and they're still going to this day.
All because of one little monk.
All because of one little monk. So, the purpose of the monk was to bring yeast to the brewery. What's the purpose of the PCC?
That's a pretty good question. The mission of the PCC, the purpose of the PCC, was to design, build, and operate a permanent sacred site and multi-use facility that would meet the gathering needs and the educational needs of Alaska's diverse and growing Earth-centered community. The main facility was set up to build and bring continuity to Earth-centered pursuits, to provide public and private space for social events, presentations, conferences. It was also, the facility itself was going to be designed to display municipal examples of sustainable resource usage and green facility construction. The site's nature sanctuary that was kind of stepped back a little bit because of the recent fire. We are trying to build paths and sacred temple spaces, places for educational and environmental awareness, classes, workshops, things for the multiple types of groups we have in the community to be able to come and have a place to have their activities safely.
So if you had to sum it up, Tony, in one word, coming back to how we started out with talking about unity, that clearly comes to mind, but what would you say in one sentence our purpose is?
The purpose of the center would be to provide a safe haven and permanent, ongoing, community-based and earth-centered activities for any path work that you, your group, or folks that you would know would do.
That's just so beautiful. We're lucky. We're absolutely lucky. Let's talk about Equinox. It's coming up. It's important. Spring Equinox is March 20th this year. That's a Monday. What do we do? What do we drink?
Well, I drink pilsner quell.
So, everyone thinks spring equinox, it's the time of the stirring of the earth. We're getting warm out and there's buds shooting up in the grass and things are growing. But that's just not the case here in Alaska. We're still 3 feet under snow. The days are starting to get longer. It's starting to get a little bit warmer, but it's still relatively cold. So for us, a lot of what we're doing is a lot of planning, a lot of getting things ready for this transition of season where we go into the melting snow and the breakup starts happening, where you have the ice going away and the snow buds coming out, the willow beginning to bloom a little bit.
Thinking about blooming.
Yeah. Well, we have ice fog, and you get the sparkly frozen waters on the trees and things like that. So we still have those aspects of that transition from winter into thinking about where we're going to get into the spring.
Well, do we still run the risk here in Alaska of, freezing even in March?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've had freezing all the way up through the end of May.
Oh.
In some instances.
Well, I know that I start my seedlings right about now, hoping that I can start to put them out in April or whatnot, because I love flowers.
Well, it's definitely the time to do your starters and to do the beginnings of getting your seeding going. If you have any greenhouses, if you have indoor ways to do that, this is definitely the time that we start doing those things.
Okay, good.
Getting more sunlight. We're starting to get a few more minutes each day of sun. So we do, from a cabin fever kind of standpoint that some folks in Alaska get, I think we're beginning to get that shaking wake up that it's coming. It's an anticipation thing for me. It's coming. Spring is coming. Warm is coming. It's time to find that balance with not only shaking off the sleep and the reflection of what we've gone through the winter, but to take those plans that we have and start to begin to plant those seeds and to manifest those ideas. And I think that's a lot of the things that, at least for me, what the springtime year in Alaska means. But I heard something about a scrimshaw.
I was going to say, Allie, you said something about we drink pilsners because it's, crisp and fresh. What about this scrimshaw that you just... Now, this one smells a little different.
So, yeah, this is actually a European-style pilsner. It's going to be fresher. It's got a little more of the grassy flavor. We're still working with the Saz Noble hops, but I don't think they're even doing a single decoction method, much less a triple decoction would be traditional. But
almost the sound of that pilsner before. And this is Scrimshaw?
This is Scrimshaw. This is a Californian brewer that
is doing a European-style brew?
That is doing a European-style brew.
Well, it's a really pretty label. Right. I love looking at the Scrimshaw that's on the...
blue and gold label.
Mm-hmm. When I first saw that, I went, oh, another Alaskan beer! It's Scrimshaw! No.
Well, the whale is cool.
Yeah, the whale is cool, but totally California. Which, as soon as I realized it was from California, I went, oh, California. All right. I'm definitely a fan of it. It's...
I'm making a face you can't see.
Yeah, you can't see the faces.
It made me pucker. It immediately went to the tip of my tongue and said, whoa! Zing!
Yeah, that's the hops that you're using. It's going to be citrusy. It's going to be a good balance between hops and malt, though. You aren't going to have any flavors that are particularly forward. If you have something that's super hoppy or super malty or super sour or super whatever.
Super Mario.
Super Mario. If you have any flavors that are Super Mario, I would also consider that off style. Just for the record. No Super Mario beer.
This actually is a little bit, I like the grassier term. It does seem, it's not so much earthy, but it almost tastes like fresh cut grass.
Now, you see how you've got more of a sweet flavor to that one?
Yeah, this one is a little bit, it's a little bit sweeter on the back roll.
So what's going on with that is something called Maillard's reaction. Maillard's reaction is the reaction where you take sugars and you darken them. You'll find it in food that's gotten blackened or browned rather than blackened on the outside. You'll find it with candy making, and you definitely find it with beer as well. So the way you get that is you do a decoction. So when you're making your beer and you've thrown your grains in your pot and you're bringing it up to temperature, you pull a third of that off, shove it in another pot, slowly bring it to boil to get the caramely flavor, to make sure that some of those grains change over and aren't fermented.
And what did you call that technique?
Decoction.
A decoction.
Yeah.
It sounds like a pissed off concoction.
Well, with the amount of time that it will add to your brew day to make it work right, you've got a couple pissed off brewers sometimes.
Mm. Well, it's definitely an interesting flavor. Very zingy.
So we're back now to Equinox.
Right, now that we know what we're drinking, Pilsners. Kathy's not drinking Scrimshaw.
Too many.
Right.
No.
No, I really like that first one.
So we did have 3 thumbs up, 4 or 5 thumbs up for the Pilsner Urquell.
Equal.
I have faith in you to figure it out eventually.
And we have a couple thumbs up and a couple thumbs down for the Scrimshaw. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I knew I should have brought the King Street. It's okay, I'll bring King Street next time.
We still have one more to go, right?
We absolutely do.
Okay. So we're talking about Equinox. Spring Equinox is just around the corner, just a couple of weeks away.
A couple days away.
A couple of days. Score, right? Tony, I always ask you about holidays and things like that. How do you write a prayer or come up with a prayer for Equinox? And do you make your prayers earth-centered neutral path? Or is it okay to just say, I'm a druid, I'm going to do it. Druid style.
Well, it really kind of depends if we're doing things for the community as a whole, or if we're doing things for our own personal practices, or if we're doing things for our groups. So you have 3 different kind of flavors for prayers, so to speak. But to me, and coming from a fire standpoint, a druidic standpoint, it's always about the intention of what you're doing. So we want to honor the time, we want to honor our own individual path, but mostly, I think for Equinox, for me, it's about balance. It is about that finding that spark of light that's coming back from the dark time. It's getting that balance and moving it forward into a energy of manifestation. So we take all that thought and chaos and darkness that we've been fostering over the course from the winter solstice and that dark time into the beginning of the stirring of work, the stirring of energy, and bringing those things forward. So for me, it's about growth. It's about taking the best of what we have seeded and brought forth and making the intention of bringing that to fruit in the future. For me, it comes from a point of honor. I honor the path I'm on. I honor my ancestors and my blood. And I call forth the work that we bring forth to bring unity to the community.
I'm sorry. Unity to the community. He's a bard poet. Don't you know it? Wow, that was so beautiful. And when I think about... You say that, the dark times, winter, where... you're huddled, and I think of little seed pods in the ground, and just, waiting.
Right, in the dark, waiting in the dark, cold.
They're just waiting to burst through, to break through that barrier to find the sun.
Yeah.
And then from a scientific point of view, because I can't help that, being modern druid that I am.
As you should.
You've got that balance between your light and your dark. Winter solstice,
it's dark
there
here.
There goes the sun.
It's way dark here.
Summer solstice, whoa, there goes the dark. The equinox truly is balance, and I hadn't thought about that. And what a great way to kind of build a prayer.
And it does. It centers in that, in that transition period from thought and idea and concept to bringing it to light and fostering that growth and the work that is coming to make those things happen.
And there's always so much work. Getting through is just the beginning, the first step. Now, do you have a prayer that you could share with us? Or?
I do. May the turning of the great wheel from winter to spring and the rebirth of life bring us a deeper attunement to the wisdom that lives in the blossoming flowers, in the blooming trees, in the intelligence of the cyclic seasons that are older than the measurements of human time on our planet. May the coming of spring renew our hope in the dark times and the dark moments of despair, fear, violence, and negativity. So that love, that light, that kindness and generosity, that dignity and caring, that daring to dream together of a healthy, peaceful, and just sustainable world, along with the commitment to work for it, be realized when enough of our tribal community unites its hearts and minds to bring forth that transformation. With each thought, each feeling, each action that goes out as energy into our planetary field of consciousness, may it influence and manifest in our world. May this spring help to move us from thoughts based in separation toward those that recognize and honor the needed unity of all life on our precious, amazing, and beautiful Mother Earth. May we open our hearts and minds to the creative miracle that is all life and our potential growth together as a species within it. Biche.
Thank you for that prayer.
Absolutely.
And, we were talking about equinox balance work. We got a busy schedule coming up this summer.
It's kind of busy. It's not as aggressive as we've been over the last few years. I think we're trying to hone down a little bit more and kind of focus on some key areas.
What would you say your priorities are, your major points of focus? If you could have three, what would they be?
Well, I think the three major points of focus for the center this year and the things that we're doing out the land this year are, we certainly want to continue with the reforestation effort and the tree planting effort. So we'll be doing some new tree beds and moving some beds from the seedling beds that we planted last year, making sure those are okay. We'll be moving them out.
I'm so excited to see them! Oh my god, wait till you see those birches. Especially since birches were designed to grow together in groups, clustered together like we have them, and then compete for sunlight. They really took off.
It should be good to get those moved out. So trees, again, another round of trees. The second thing that we're looking at would be to finalize some work on the pump house and the foundation for the shower house and setting posts for the artisan's bunkhouse binder hall. We're going to be doing the raising the frame at some point over the course of the whole summer this year, and then some foundation work and a little bit of road work for the cottages.
Oh wow, that's super. It's all going to be coming together. I think this year we'll be doing some live casting while we're out there, so the folks that don't make it for some of our work parties can see what we're actually doing.
Oh goodness.
Oh, you think still photos say a lot. Wait, when you're there, you compete. And I would love to get some time lapse of the bunkhouse raising to get that framework up. I can just see us go. We'll do it. That someone else will do it. But yeah.
No, I'm gonna be the one throwing the sticks around, and you know it.
So we've definitely are playing with trees this year. We were talking about reforestation, moving beds. Then we have some continuing work with the pump house.
Construction type work.
That makes more sense. I was like, pump house, that's not good.
With setting up some more amenities and things like that. Just minor things. The biggest thing was the raising a pole barn for the artisans' bunkhouse. And then the third thing that we're really going to try to concentrate on over the course of the whole summer season this year will be some trail improvement and some shrine area improvements.
I love it. Let's do it. And that means work parties are going to be going up on the website, on our Facebook page.
They'll be on the website now. The whole season will be on the website now, posted from the 1st of May through Samhain, the end of October.
So our schedule is up. You'll find on our website and on Facebook, we've got a couple of work parties each month. We have 2 celebrations going on, and one of them is Solstice, which is going to be celebrated on the 24th of June, and then Stones Rising, which is September 23rd. Those are both going to be day events. Lots of stuff going on. I mean, we are working, we're working on reforestation with the trees. I'm so excited to see all the babies. Our construction efforts, and then our trail work. I imagine that we're going to be doing a lot of logging.
A little bit more logging this year, trying to clean up some of the things that we took down. We also, which is kind of interesting, we have been talking about doing a couple outings for limited small groups. One of the Wiccan groups in the area, one of the elder priests, wants to present a workshop series on making magical weapons for spell working and things like that. So we're going to take 3 separate trips around the state of Alaska to different locations to harvest the natural materials, bring those to a blast furnace that he's making so you can make your own athame or something like that.
Wow!
So we'll be harvesting hematite and limestone and some other minerals from the great state of Alaska.
That's super cool.
So that's something that the Earth Explorers trips are going to be doing. And they'll be on the schedule too.
Now, we had talked about doing some bardic stuff at Stone Rising. You think we'll get to that this year?
I believe so. There's nothing better than a bunch of drummers and a bunch of poets and a bunch of storytellers getting together and having some kind of wonderful competition and expression of creativity. So I think that those things would be wonderful to have as an offering for the Stones Rising.
Okay. Well, we will certainly get more information on that as we get closer.
That's pretty much it for the schedule. Like I said, it's up on the website, pcc-ak.org, and also on our Facebook page.
All right, so we've got one last professional beer to try tonight. This is from Anchorage Brewing Company. They're a local brew company that's gotten multiple countrywide and international awards. Normally, they ferment a lot with Brett, which gives this sour flavor that really highlights the fruity flavors. I'm not really a fan, but I wandered in one day and saw a Czech pilsner on tap with 100% Saaz hops, as it ought to be, and Broodvar yeast, and I just had to try it. And I loved it so much that, I brought some for you guys to
It's
try.
a mini growler.
Yes, I got a mini growler.
It's cute.
Ooh, the third pouring.
All right, so this is lighter yellow. This is more
very, very light.
Whoa, but look at that head.
Yes, it's very heady. He's done a really good job.
Okay, just so you know, this is like, it was 2.5, almost 3 inches. It's just now settling down to 2.
Yeah, this one has a really, really strong head. We may be killing our editor with this one.
Ooh, smells.
Little foam on that head. This is the lightest colored one, and
it's straw colored. It's actually an unfiltered pilsner. The other ones.
Every time she says unfiltered, that to me that sounds like unprotected sex. Just saying.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's unprotected brewing. So this one's got more of a hop forward characteristic because they dry hopped it a little bit.
See, I'm stuck on the unfiltered.
This is a more distinct flavor.
Yes.
It's some would call it a dirty flavor.
A dirty flavor.
It's
dry hopped.
Still clean, and it is dry hopped.
Yes. But, 100% Saaz, which is one of the original wild hops that we found in the Czech region.
I actually like this one better than the scrimshaw. What?
Yeah, I like this one best. And then I would go with the Urquell second, and then the scrimshaw myself.
I'm in the same range. This definitely was my favorite. I almost picked up a full growler of it.
She still has head, guys.
I still have head. I'm holding it up to the microphone like you can see it. That's not going to work in a podcast. Yeah, I've got still at least 3/4 of an inch of head on it at this point.
Well, it makes my tongue tingle.
Yes, it's quite good.
This would be excellent with fish.
Yes. I actually tend to do a pilsner or a general
I would eat those
lager.
fish tacos with this.
Yo, there you go. My fish tacos are pretty good.
Good third choice for the pilsner round.
I actually interviewed their head brewer, Sean, for this one.
Oh, what did he say about it?
Well, he brews it in the old style. He's got
What does that mean, old style?
So old style in this case means they're still doing a decoction method with it, but he's not, instead of doing a triple decoction, which is using that removal of wort, then boiling the wort, then dumping it back in to hit all your different temperature points that you have to in brewing and bringing it up to temperature that way, he's just doing it once for the Maillard's reaction, to get that caramely flavor that's very much in style thanks to the Pilsner Urquell and their copper brewing vats.
Oh, he brews in copper?
No, he does not. He has giant oak barrels, though. It's really freaking cool.
Cool.
He brews in stainless like most brewers.
I was going to be impressed.
Right? Yeah, no, most brewers at this point are brewing in stainless steel. Pilsner Urquell still insists on doing it in copper vats, which is very different, and they claim part of why it tastes the way it does.
That might be the little, not necessarily metallic kind of taste that was in the Pilsner Urquell, but a more tinny.
Interesting way to describe that. I see what you're referring to. I'm not sure.
But that's good.
Yeah, it's quite good.
I give it 2 thumbs up.
Woohoo!
I still don't like the smell of it, but it tastes good.
Yeah, it was really funny when I was talking to him. I asked him to sum up his brewery in just a couple words. And it was, we brew beers we like to drink. We don't copy or emulate. And we don't try to be overly unique. If you've ever gone in and had a couple of their brews, they do unique just fine. But they're always trying something new and pushing an envelope. And I know that a lot of the beers they do take over a year to make.
But they're not trying to do some lavender-scented Pilsner.
No, good Lord, no. Okay. They understand when a style is a style for a reason. And when there comes a point where you don't need to fudge it that way, that's a bad idea.
Cool.
So here around Alaska, we tend to drink Pilsners at Spring Equinox.
Springy summer, right in there. That's when I want Pilsners in my mouth.
Cold.
Cold, yes.
I don't think I'd like this hot.
Oh, good Lord, no.
No, I want this one cold.
You want Pilsners crisp, clean, and cold, just like they're brewed. Those things should be brewed at about 48 degrees, allowed to ferment that cold.
That's a cold ferment.
That is a cold ferment.
Okay, that sounds like summer to me, but 48 degrees it is.
You are such an Alaskan.
Wow, so 3 great brews. Thank you. Is there anything else? What else have you got in your bag?
I have one more thing.
We might as well try it when we go into credits.
Alright. It's actually something I made myself.
Oh, homebrew.
Homebrew. It's, okay. This one I have been excited about.
So just so you know, her growler says, beer is art, and the palate is yours.
Yeah, that came from Kodiak Brewing Company when I went and had a Scotch ale so good that I bought a growler that I could fly the beer home to you guys in.
Gotcha.
I think we talked about that last episode.
Yes, this is the growler. This is actually the growler.
Wow, I totally didn't notice. So, tell me about this one that you brewed.
So, this was one that my best friend Angel and I went into Summit Spice Tea Company and tried a mulled Honeycrisp apple cider, and we looked at each other and we went, we could ferment that.
What?
And it's made with Honeycrisp apples. Well, the cider is I did not make the cider itself this time. I've done that before. It is an absolute pain. If you can just buy your apple juice, buy your apple juice. And it's mulled, sweetened with honey, and this was part of a set where we did one batch sweetened with honey and one batch sweetened with maple syrup, and the maple syrup fermented through every drop of sugar in it, put it at a 12% cider, and made it taste like butt. It was not terribly good, but this honey only fermented 3%, and every time I drink it, I just start smiling.
Well, it smells like a cider. I smell the apple. I can smell the cinnamon. Wow, I like it better than the beer already. Oh, sorry.
That's
Let
why
me try it.
I brought it because
Local brew is the way to go.
Yum. Oh.
The best one of the night.
Wow. Okay. We should roll credits now because I'm going to be quiet for a minute.
So this has been our second episode in Hearth to Hearth. We're very glad that you tuned in with us today. Today we talked about a couple brews in the pilsner or quell style. We touched on the purpose of the PCC. We talked about Spring Equinox and had a little prayer together. And the schedule that we're going to be posting, or at this point have posted, up on our Facebook page and on the PCC. So we hope that you'll check us out again, and maybe we'll see you out on the land. Maybe with a pilsner in your hand. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.